Hello, everybody. Wonderful to be in your presence. I hope you had a fabulous, amazing day. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Heather Corbett, and I'm a medium and spiritual advisor and administrator of this amazing, fabulous, out of this world group. It blows me away. Absolutely blows me away. So today, as I shared in my little advertisement, I'm going to be talking about the star children. And so this includes indigos, this includes rainbows, and this includes the crystals, okay? These are all different various forms of children. I'm gonna go ahead and invite also to this, hopefully. How come I can't invite? I'm like, whoever is watching, invite somebody. And so what's happening, thank you, Paulette. You guys go ahead and invite, share. I'm not able to, but please do. What's happening is I am broadcasting from my business page, and so they are not sending out as many notifications. So if you guys could invite, that would be wonderful. So share. Feel free to share this. Also, a good, awesome thing that it is on the business page is that you can share it anywhere. And so that I am broadcasting from my business page. So hi, sweet Amy. Wonderful to have you. So excited to see people come in. Go ahead and invite. Go ahead and share. We're talking today about star children. And I feel like a lot of you may be a star child. And so I feel like it's going to give you a lot of insights. Hi, sweet Peggy. Again, go ahead and invite and share. Get more people in here. Again, I'm blasting from my business page, and so it doesn't send out as many notifications. So I'll just keep chatting. But I am feeling like many of you are star children. And so then it gives you insight into yourself and then also your children. So being able to give insight into your children. Hi, sweet Hannah. Wonderful to see you, sweetie. Hi, Patty. Good to see you. Hi, Cindy. Good to see you as well. Again, go ahead and invite and share. Hi, Rosina. Oh, this is wonderful. Yay. Now you guys are getting the notifications, I think. So again, just invite, share, invite people to come on in. I don't think I have that feature. And so, yeah, so if you guys could do it, that would be so awesome. I would love to know also how your day went, how your week's going. We're at hump day. Definitely let me know how you're doing, how the week is going. Are you almost there? Are you done with work on Friday and you're just like, 2 more days, I can do this? So please let me know how you're doing. Hello again. Right. So yes, Trisha is referring to, she says, I think I've had my fair share of cussing for the week. We did a card pull in the VIP group and it was some naughty cards. Trisha was able to share that. Good, Hannah. Good, sweetie. With us. And so in the VIP group, we are practicing our skills and yeah. And so we practice them with a naughty card deck. So also want to let you guys know as you're hopping on, go ahead and share. We're going to talk about the star children this evening. That in May, on May 7th, we're going to start a big launch. It's free. The whole month is free, and we're going to have, we're a blast. I was laughing so hard. We're going to have 5 days to heighten your spiritual connection. And then the next week we'll have 4 days to reach your highest potential. The next week we'll have 3-day spiritual boost. And then the final week will be a new challenge. So it's going to be the entire month of May. It is my birthday month, and I'd love to hear if anybody else has a birthday in May. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Tina, that's good. I like that. That was good. F&A, that was fun. It was. There was some swear words. Yeah, definitely tell me how you guys are doing. Definitely invite, share, etc. Get more people in here for sure. Still job hunting. Okay. Doing your best to trust in spirit, sweet love. Oh, good, Peggy. Talking with your daughter was the best part of the day. That's so good. Wonderful Jamie Mackling's in the house, right? She is, isn't she? So again, go ahead and invite and share, and so people don't get as many notifications because I'm coming from Heather Corbett, medium and spiritual advisor. Cindy's just saying, having a crazy week. What? And now you're moving? Oh my gosh, Cindy, so many changes. Bring it on. Wonderful things are coming and old is leaving. Oh my gosh, honey. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing, girlfriend. To be able to, put that perception on, just recognizing that you're moving through things. You're being able to, hi Pam, wonderful to see you, sweetie. You're able to, let go of what is happening and allow for more to come in. It's amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You really inspire me, Cindy. You really, really do. Yeah. And I love the support of this group. It will come for Peggy. It will come. I love what Trisha wrote. And let's see, somebody said something that jogged my memory. Oh, Pam. So this Friday, we're having a spirit circle, and that's 2.5 hours on Zoom, online. And I walk you through a meditation, and then we invite loved ones in from spirit. And it's also a time to practice. So the last spirit circle we had multiple people that were able to bring forth spirit, were able to bring forth loved ones in spirit, bring forth messages from spirit. So it was pretty awesome. So right now we have about 7 people, and I'm going to limit it to 10. So if there's 3 of you that want to join us, definitely direct message me. It's $30 for 2.5 hours. It went 2.5, 3 hours last time or so. I think it went 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I think that's what it was. But Pam was there. That's what reminded me of it. Yes, so much fun. And yeah, it is. It's pretty amazing. So I'm gonna hop in. But again, you guys, just go ahead and share. Let people know that they can come in. There's just not an option for me to be able to invite people. So please invite people. Again, the Facebook notifications go out really slow. So it was amazeballs, right, Pam? Yeah, it was a ton of fun. I loved meeting your loved ones, which is always, it's exciting. Oh yeah, of course, Cindy. Yeah, I'll put you in the group. There's a Facebook Messenger group, so I'll put you in there, and that stuff is in there, and I'll definitely invoice you. Yes. So I usually do PayPal, but if people are not able to do PayPal, I can also invoice you. But yeah, it was pretty amazing. It was pretty incredible. And so yeah, I wanna dive in with this subject. I just feel like a lot of you could resonate with it. You can always tell when I'm channeling because my hands just kind of go. They have a life of their own. I've joked with some of my mediumship students, if I pass before you guys, there's a certain trait, it's clairempathic, where you're emulating the person's personality, and then clairkinetic is being able to emulate the spirit's movements. Like I say, you're going to be doing this, because that's what I do. That's what I do when I'm channeling. So my hands just move. Again, go ahead and feel free to invite, feel free to share this video, grab more people. So this evening I'm going to talk about the star children, which I feel many of you are. I feel many of you are star children. And I hope that this really allows you to get more of the answers that you may have been seeking, or else just bring light to what you've experienced in your lifetime, and give a name and give meaning to what you have experienced in the spiritual realm, in the human realm, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to be talking about the star children. So what this is it's almost like an umbrella term, and definitely feel free to chime in, to be able to share your own stories, perhaps even talk about your children that may be one of these categories as well. I would love for this to be a discussion of some sort. Again, share the wealth. Go ahead and share this video, invite people so that more people can get the goods. So star children. So star children, again, is this umbrella term, and it covers the indigo children, it covers the crystal children, and the rainbow children. I've been getting a lot more hits about a new generation that's coming through, and that is the golden children. So I wanted to pull that in for you as well. And so the star children, again, it's an umbrella term, and it encompasses these various generations of children that are coming in. A big portion of these generations that are coming in, is to push boundaries of society. How cool is that, right? That's a premise for these children coming in, and for you all that may resonate with one of these categories. You were brought in to push boundaries, to push society's boundaries. Okay, really. I love this because I'm an indigo, and indigos love to push boundaries, and we're rebels. And so when I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, push the boundaries, push the boundaries. And so that's what, it's all getting better, and I love it. Perfect, Tertia. And so that's what's coming forward, is that people are recognizing that each one of these generations is making change. Okay, is making change. Oh, absolutely, Jamie, absolutely. Let me write both of you down. Jamie and Cindy. Perfect. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love it. I love it. I love the spirit circles. So then with the star children, the reason for the names, so we have indigo, we have crystal, and we have rainbow. The reason for these names are that is what we can see in the auras of these children, and who are now adults. Some of them are now adults. There's still more children trickling in. And so, sorry, I'm still kind of getting over this cold, so I had to put a Ricola in my mouth. So the indigos, okay, the indigos, I'm an indigo. I wore an indigo shirt. I was like, hey. So the indigos, we have indigo in our auras, okay? Originally, when these new waves were coming in, they categorized them based on what years they were born, but they're noticing there's starting to be a lot of overlap with these children that are coming through. So the indigos, they had this wave in the 60s to 70s into 80s. Okay, so us indigos, we could be categorized by the birth year. We're also categorized by the indigo in our aura. So I want to share just various characteristics. Dana, yeah, what's up, girl? Indigo, go. I want to share various characteristics of each. I also want to share with you that I am a pediatric occupational therapist, and I've seen these children. I've seen these children, So I've been working with kids for 21 years. So I am 40, and I'm turning 41 next month. So you're going to celebrate my 41st birthday with me. So I've been working with children with special needs since I was 19. And so I've seen this, I've been able to just firsthand see this. And I want to share some of the characteristics that I have researched, and also the characteristics that I have seen. And it's absolutely exquisite and beautiful and wonderful. And I want to be able to really help you guys see just how special you are, and how special the children are that are coming through. It blows me away. It really does. It makes me tear up, because I just think, oh my gosh, so I get to be in this direct line of contact with these children on a daily basis. Hi, Tori. Hi, sweet love. Just talking about the star children, which you very well could be. So some traits on prior characteristics, says Trisha, and even now are resonating with you also. Okay, good to know. Oh, Potsy, thank you. The best OT ever. I'll tell you why she's saying hot. Did I tell you that story about hot? Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm just coming out with my age right now. So in the program that I went to here in Idaho, the master's program, the OT program was so small that they meshed with the PT program. So there were 4 PTs, and there was 4 PTs named Heather, and there was 1 OT named Heather. That was me. And so they called me Heather the OT, or hot. Isn't that funny? I don't know if that's what you're referring to, girlfriend, but anyway. Yes, yes, I'm excited. This is such a side note, you guys, but I kind of had a rough birthday last year, and I was just like, 40's gonna be amazing. 40's gonna be amazing, and I made it amazing, right? I made it amazing. I'm excited to celebrate this year. I'm like, this is gonna be a better birthday than last year. So thank you for that, Trisha. Okay, so back on track. Okay, Indigos again, 60s, 70s, 80s. One of the things, okay, perfect, Pati. I was like, does she know that story? And Dana's seen it too in pediatric practice. Yes, yes, yes. So we have another OT here that has seen that as well. So I love this so much. I have chills actually because I would love to get some of us together just over time. I don't have anything set in stone by any means, but I just would love to get together and swap notes and do research and that kind of thing. Plus, I would love it because I'm pulling in a new category called the Goldens in a lot of my readings, and I believe it's because their aura is gold, and so I'd love to do more research there with what the Goldens look like. You can't Google that stuff, which just kind of blows me away. For a while I was like, how come Doreen Virtue didn't bring forward the Goldens, and it was funny because Spirit's like, because you brought forward the Goldens. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, so again, back on track, 1960 for Tori, quite misunderstood. I totally agree. Yes, and so, and I just feel like we can be the voice, we can be the voice. So with us Indigos, Tori, very well, you could be an Indigo then. Let me tell you the characteristics of this. So one of the premises that they talk about with Indigos is because we were born to like the hippies is kind of what they're sharing. And so it was like this movement of, such openness and whatnot. And then all of a sudden here we come, like, boom, here we are. So that's during my research, I saw that. I thought, oh, that's cool. So what we come in on, we are like almost, let's say the first of these waves coming in. And so these kids are coming in waves, but we are the first to push those boundaries. Okay. And so we are we are rebels. Okay, can I get a woot woot? Are there any Indigos out there that are rebels? I am definitely a rebel, all the way through. I was just born into this world a rebel. And so with that, these may be the kids, if there are some more Indigos coming through that may be pushing authority. So I did that growing up. I definitely pushed authority. I was in the principal's office a lot in fourth grade especially, but I was really pushing a lot of the boundaries. I was in the timeout room and that kind of thing. But what's interesting about this is that we also, even though we are rebels, okay, there's Trisha. So even though we are rebels, we also, with this, and maybe this is coinciding, but we're intolerant of things that are not fair. So if something's not fair, we're going to make a stand. So maybe that's more something that actually coincides with being a rebel. So we are going to if there's any type of unfairness, we will not tolerate it. Okay. And that is true. So I've also just growing up, if I saw bullies, I was just all over that. I was like, no, not okay. I just was anything unfair. It just was not okay. I remember this one time that I think it was in band, and there was this gal that was in a grade lower than me, and she started really picking on this other girl that was in the grade lower than her. And I kind of sat down next to the girls that she was bullying, because they were, and I just sat there and I turned and I wouldn't let the gal that was bullying do any more bullying. And I turned to the gal who was being bullied and I said, how are you? What are you doing these days? And totally cut that other girl out of the conversation. I was just like, no. So that kind of thing. So that's what us Indigos do. I hate unfairness too. You bullied the bullies. Boom, Pam. Yes, we're in the same boat here. You're right, Dina. I hear you. I thought it was just odd. Yeah, no, I hear you on that, because there was times too that I was like, oh gosh, my parents really didn't know what to do with me at times. They were just like, what is going on with Heather? So we don't necessarily want to go with tradition. And so any kind of folk, I was also raised Catholic, let's say. Okay, so Jody, you may be an indigo. Yeah, super protective of the underdog. I completely agree. Yes, Tori. Yes, girlfriend. So I'm talking to you guys directly. So this is awesome. So we push through boundaries, traditions. Okay, so I was raised Catholic and would go to confession every week. We did every week in third grade. We did every week. And so after a while, I was just like, F it. Like, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, right? So I just remember it was so funny. I was like holding the priest's hands and I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I didn't do anything wrong this week. Like, seriously, even though I was a rebel, but I seriously did nothing wrong that week. I really didn't think I did. And it was funny because there was this long pause and he's like, what did you do? And I'm like nothing's coming to mind. He's like, okay, say 3 Hail Marys. I was like, okay, so we were just already like seen as sinners, right? But I kind of rebelled against that even. And so you'll see that with kiddos who are in that rebellious. Rules are sometimes impossible to follow. I agree with you. Okay, so Trisha's on board with that. And Dana's just saying I was a flower child despite my parents and siblings. Oh, honey, we have a lot in common. I love this. Rules are sometimes impossible to follow. There are, speed limits. Who needs speed limits? Like, really? That's why I get a speeding ticket, I think, every other year. But that's okay. And so, yeah, rules. So we're very strong-willed, we're very stubborn. And so, let's see, what did Patti say? Fighting for justice, especially animal rights. Yeah. Like, we're just like, no, like any type of injustice. We're just like, no, there's no way, that's not going to happen. So we're very strong-willed, we're very stubborn. For a while, I thought it was because I was a Taurus, so I just thought, oh, I'm stubborn like a bull. And the more that I did research, I'm like, no, I'm stubborn like an indigo, like really. So we're this is funny, we're the rock stars, we're the fighters, we're the warriors, okay, is what they term us as. We have problems with authority, and we're very intuitive and often very psychic, okay? So those of you who, super stubborn, okay, Bhatti's like, yeah, I think this is me. So just recognizing that. So just recognizing that we're in this collective. This is who we are. So then being able to recognize that some of these traits really work in our favor. We're very creative, and we also don't fear trying something new, or we'll just, it may take a little bit, but we'll do it, So, okay, Paulette. Yeah, don't tell me what to do. That was really hard for me too. Like, don't tell me what to do. I was the same with my sister. I'm like, don't tell me what to do. Stubborn or just passionate. Ooh, I like that, Trisha. That's good. That's really good. So with that, just recognizing that we're creative and we're not afraid to try new or to do new. I had several jobs before I went to get my graduate degree. I was a radio DJ. I worked at a ski lift. I was a daycare provider. I, did behavioral intervention with kids with autism. Like, I did all of these things because I was always wanting to try something new. And I was honestly, I was kind of afraid I wasn't going to get into graduate school because I didn't have a long work history, a long track record. So we like newness. Like being told what to do. I know. I hear you. I hear you. So we also lack patience. We often get frustrated. So if something doesn't work out the first time or something like that, I definitely lack patience. Sometimes she does. She cracks me up too. Sometimes I have a hard time with, being patient with my husband. Like I'll just say what do you think about such and such? And I need the answer, so it's maybe something tech or something like that. And he kind of sits and ponders it. And I'm just like, I don't have time for this, so I'm going and make him a lunch for the next day, so it's just, we just don't have that patience. And that's okay, because there's so much that we need to experience in this lifetime. Some of the maybe special needs kids that we may see are somebody maybe termed oppositional defiant, something along those lines, and can indeed be the indigos, okay? Right, okay, Patti, we are in the same boat, girlfriend. So really allowing us to embrace that we're an indigo. I feel like that's first and foremost. This is just who we are. I love this. Yes, Okay, right, okay, cool. Yeah, I love that, Trisha. For those of you hopping on, we're just talking about the star children, the crystal. We're talking about the star children, indigos, crystal, rainbows, and now I'm getting a new one called the goldens. Again, feel free to invite people to this live and to share it. So I feel like first and foremost, it's so good for us just to know that this is who we are, that we don't need to change, that it's okay to be a rebel, it's okay to be impatient, this is okay. And I feel like with that it's allowing us to have that compassion, that empathy for everyone, right? So for these little kiddos that are coming up the ranks that may be indigo, I have seen kiddos that, you know, are the rebels and just have a hard time like being within those parameters, you know, and just knowing like, ooh, we got another indigo coming in. So then I'm going to move on to the crystals, and so more than likely us indigos, if you're looking at the timeline and the time that we've been born into, more than likely us indigos are having crystal children. We could also be having rainbow children. Okay, just like you. Oh, wow, Jody, this is pretty cool. Wow, honey. He's now 15 and super laid back, but still hates man-made moons. Boom, right? So yeah, I could see that he would be coming in as that indigo. I could definitely see that. And, you know, if mama's an indigo, like that just feels really good that she would understand. No, you would understand. I'm talking about you in third person, but it's wonderful to know, like, if there's an indigo and there's another indigo, that you understand, you know? Yeah. And having that understanding. Yeah, everyone has a disorder, right? Hello. We're all in the same boat. So then the crystals. The crystals are 1980s to 2010 is like the cutoff. But again, we're still having crystals that are being born. They could be, you know, born to indigos, or they could just be this new surge. So the crystals, typically they have very large eyes, illuminating eyes, very almost as if just you can't look away. That, you know, just these mesmerizing eyes. So for those of you hopping on, I see new people coming in. We're talking about the star children. Right now we're talking about the crystal children. Good, Jody. Yes. And I feel like that's what more of us need to be, you know, to recognize and to really support that next generation. And then Peggy's just saying with ADHD, actually that's another indigo trait. That's another indigo like diagnosis is ADHD and ADD. Yep. So hey, whoop whoop. Yes. Absolutely, Dana. I'm glad you brought that up about a lot of the kids with sensory processing stuff are star children. Absolutely. And a lot of the research that I've done, I completely agree with you. They're finding that. They're just finding that these sweet little beings that have sensory processing issues, that they do fall into these categories. So absolutely. And the crystals do, and so do the rainbows. And so the crystals, again, huge eyes. It's almost as if, you know, when you look at them, you don't want to look away. You just kind of gaze at them. They're gazing at you, and it looks like they're like looking into your soul. I have a 13-year-old that I work with, who I definitely believe is a crystal. His mom's in this group. His name is Dalton, and his mom's name is Lucretia, and I love working with him. He is very pure of spirit, and that's another thing. So there you go. So you may have a crystal Carter on your hands. Okay. And so, okay. Wow, sweetie, this explains a lot about them. They both have to stand up for others no matter what attitude, and while they are respectful, they don't tolerate authority well. Yes, very good, very good, very good. Okay, Cindy, so you're seeing some of these characteristics. Okay, yeah, so it makes sense. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily need to be a certain timeline. Again, the indigos are still trickling in. You know, the crystals are still trickling in. So this sweet young fella that I'm working with, Dalton, he knows his guardian angel. He knows there's other angels around him. He's very almost like unassuming. It's almost as if he just feels that everybody has that. When he looks at you, it's innocent, but it's very it's almost direct at the same time. Just kind of looks into you, and they're very, very connected to the earth. They're very in tune with their own energy. He's very very he's really okay with who he is, and I feel like he knows who he is, and he's not going to dismiss it. These crystal children are not getting the veil put over them, which is really, really good. And they just know who they are. So as Dana was sharing earlier, these are the kiddos that we're seeing with like the sensory overload. These are the kiddos that are so sensitive that they have a hard time, perhaps being in shopping malls or, just loud arenas, that type of thing. And so these are our crystal children. They're just overwhelmed, with the world, they are here to teach us, and they're here to teach us compassion, tolerance, patience, and gentleness. And so I love that is what they're teaching us. Also, we're seeing with some of the crystals and the rainbows is that we're having this gender neutrality, this gender fluidity, where they're not necessarily wanting to go in either direction. They're okay being who they are, and they're not necessarily, feeling like they need to match with masculinity or femininity. They're just who they are. So we may be seeing this too. Some crystals can be very touchy-feely. They're very emotional, very empathic. They make a lot of their decisions off intuition and off feelings. So some of the ladies in the group have shared that they are crystals. Some of the ladies they're in their 20s. Again, age and the time when people are born doesn't necessarily need to be. So again, they're in their 20s. There can also be some crystals, coming in their at 7 years old, 8 years old, that kind of thing. So, so oh, wow. Trisha, I love that. That's cute. That's cute. So our crystals, so they may have sensitivities like allergies. They may have other sensitivities, eczema, that type of thing. They may have some of those sensitivities happening. They really enjoy solitude, and yet also they have lasting friendships. They have a friend, and it's across the board. They're going to have that friend for a long time. They're really good at counseling. They're really good at being counselors, being mediators. Sometimes they're very musical, and they just connect. They connect musically, and they also connect really well with children and animals. So these are our crystal children, crystal adults. There are crystal adults as well. And so these are healers. So these are crystals that are coming in. It's almost like they're fine-tuned for healing. Not to say that indigos are not healers or rainbows are not healers, but at the same time, our crystals coming in, they're definitely have that healing capacity. So would love to hear any of your thoughts about crystals. If you feel like you have a crystal in your midst, crystal child in your midst. If you're a crystal child, would love to hear. I feel like for some of you, a lot of this is resonating. Like, wow, Cindy was just sharing about her kiddo. Even us indigos, just being able to recognize that we're all in the same group here. So any questions, anything along those lines, with our indigos, with our crystals, just let me know. I have to plug my phone in. Okay, so then we have, so as you guys, sounds like Clifford says, Peggy. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, Jody, that is perfectly fine. Yes, so she's just sharing that her daughter's older, and is older than my son who's a crystal, and my son who is younger is an indigo. Yeah, so just recognizing that that the ages don't necessarily matter in the time that you're born. It just doesn't matter anymore. And I think at one time it really did, because we were just this first wave coming through, and now there's just such a trickling coming in and overlapping, etc. So yeah, so for those of you coming on, we're talking about the star children. So we're talking about the indigos, crystals, and the rainbows. So I do feel that there can be some overlap with these. And so sometimes I do see an overlap with crystals and rainbows. And so crystals, I'm really seeing that they, if we're going to say what special needs they have, I definitely see this in sensory processing. I definitely do. Yeah. Okay. So Carter has ADHD. He prefers quiet over chaos. And man, if anyone is hurting, he's right there to make them feel better. He's your lover. Yeah. So he's fitting that. He's fitting that to a T. Hi, Noelia. Hey, sweet girl. We're talking about the star children. So yeah. So those of us who are indigos, more than likely we have gave birth to a crystal or two. Okay. There you go, Cindy. And that feels really good. Two indigos and two crystals. And I always think too, it's so nice to have somebody in the family that knows what the child's going through, so you're more than likely an indigo, right? And resonating there. And then you have two indigos. And then the two crystals, then, you're able to then, you just know what it's like to have these spiritual, expressions. Yeah, Peggy. So, and I feel like too, like researchers and scientists. So Peggy just says, I thought ADHD was from red dye, that kind of thing. And I feel like researchers and scientists, they're trying to find a cause, and so that could be a cause. There could be another cause, that type of thing. I feel like parents want answers, and I feel like doctors aren't always going to go on the spiritual route, so they're going to go into, what is your child eating, etc. And so Trisha's just saying Ava's a mix. I think for being 10, she carries a lot of indigo in her also. Cool. Okay. So you may have an indigo happening. So that's pretty cool. That's awesome. All right. So again, feel free to jump in at any time talking about indigos, crystals. Now we're going to talk about rainbow. So, if you want to follow the progression, they were sharing so then rainbows are born to crystals. So they were seeing this connection. I'm feeling like, again, it's the children are coming in when they're going to come in. And so rainbows are really all about being able to heal and rebalance humanity. Okay. They're here to rebalance. So, what's happened over the last 30, 40 years, 50 years, that type of thing. It's almost like these rainbow children are coming in to really balance it out. You may see some of our sweet little rainbow children. They may just like the spiritual realm more than they are wanting to be in human form. So a lot of my rainbow kids that I see at the clinic, I can see that they're looking at either my aura, or they're looking at loved ones around me, or they're looking at spirits, guides, angels, masters. I've seen some of them really hone in, especially on my guardian angel. So my guardian angel's over here, and when I see a kiddo look in this direction, I'm like, you see my guardian angel, don't you? So that's pretty neat. It's pretty neat to see these guys. Right? I love it, Jody. Yes, absolutely. We need to just let kids be kids and teach them that the weird things aren't always so weird, because instead it's something to be embraced. Absolutely. And I feel that it helps us to know what the child is experiencing too, that it's not, just like you said, Jody, it's not weird. It's just what they're experiencing. It's just something that they're going through. So the rainbow children, they see spirit more than the I don't want to say more than the others. They see spirit, and it's not a big deal to them. So they see spirit, and their fear, their nervous system isn't gauged to be afraid. So these kiddos, they might hear a noise and they turn and they just know, hey, that's spirit. Whereas for example, my kiddo is crystal, and he does sense spirit, but it scares him. Okay. And so then our rainbows, they're not as scared. They're pretty open, that they just know spirit's around. They're at a higher vibration. They're here to reveal truth. And that's their big mission, is to reveal truth. They might be labeled new souls, and as if they haven't incarnated at all before. And so I think this is super interesting, though, because even though they haven't incarnated before, some of these rainbow children, they're very, very spiritually evolved. So they're actually very advanced, okay? And I'm not saying that all rainbows haven't been incarnated before. It's just that some haven't, and so with that thinking, it's almost as if they were hanging out in the celestial realm for, in our time, thousands of years, and they're ready to come to the planet. So in looking at that, again, they're typically they're typically birthed to crystals, but they could be birthed to indigos as well. Again, it's wonderful to be able to have that connection with your parent, with your child, to have that understanding. Even I'm an indigo, my child's a crystal, still having that understanding of his spiritual gifts, that he has spiritual gifts. So Jody's just saying, I see this so much in my nieces and nephews, even though their parents don't understand it, they love to talk to Aunt Jojo. Perfect. And about it all. Perfect. And that safety, really that safety is so important for these kiddos. Yeah, I like this. So Patty's just saying that Isabella has a few indigo characteristics because she's a rebel, but she's mostly a rainbow, and had those concerns. Yeah, but she's just been a rainbow since a baby. She's fearless and felt she's very advanced spiritually. Absolutely. I agree with you, Patty. And is again, just totally fine with the spiritual realm, totally fine with being able to, see spirits around, may not have the verbiage right now, to say what it is, but at the same time, it's almost, I almost feel like they don't feel like they have to say what it is. It's just like people, like you don't point to, a human being and say, look, human being, so they're seeing spirits and it's just a natural thing for them, which is really good because the hope is that these kiddos don't get veiled, the crystals or the rainbows, because they're kind of the next wave. They're often also just kind of in their own worlds, and they're and I feel anyway that they're kind of talking to spirit a lot. They're kind of in their own world, doing their own thing, and so they're very, very sweet, but they have a will of steel. So that might explain a little bit more. Pati is super sweet, super, just super, super sweet, and at the same time, like that steel, like, just this will of steel. And so they're very brave. They're able to withstand hardship. They're okay with that. I almost feel like sometimes their contracts, it's kind of written in there. And they have very high energy, lots and lots of energy. If you're hanging out with spirit, you're going to have a lot of energy. That's all there is to it. So, so sure, there's going to be some diagnoses that are going to relate to high energy. So if you look at ADHD or something like that, you're going to these will be the rainbow children. So, yeah, so Ava, Trisha's daughter, Ava will make comments, and I seriously look at her and wonder how she could almost be so wise for her age, right? So they're already advanced, like they're already there. So good. Okay, good. Bhaji's like, yeah, that's it. That's her. So really high energy. And big eyes again. So we have the big eyes, and it's almost captivating to look in their eyes. I almost feel like the rainbows, they don't look as much to the humans, especially in their early years, just because they're much more enthralled with the spirit realm, especially if they're a new soul. They're just used to the spirit realm, and if they have incarnated before, they're just really, really comfortable with the spirit world. So it's not like there's any, I don't feel like saying there's something wrong necessarily with them. I just feel like they're just comfortable with the spirit world, so they're going to look at the spirit world more than they're going to look at humans, and that's okay. Obviously we want to assist them so that they can have good social relationships, to be able to be looking at humans, etc. But that's a reason why they're not looking at humans, which I feel like that it makes sense. They also don't care what people think of them. They don't. It's not an issue whatsoever. So they are definitely pushing the limits. For those of you hopping on, I'm just talking about star children and looking at indigos and crystals, and now we're talking about rainbows. So these cute little buttons, these cute little rainbows, Eva spent a lot of time looking over my shoulder as a baby. Okay, so she was probably seeing those spirits. Yeah, and it's not a big deal to them. It's really not a big deal to them to be able to see the spirits. And so Noelia just says, my daughter feels like a very old soul. Yeah. So more than likely is fitting into these categories, more than likely. And so those are our rainbows. again, I just feel like to reiterate that they can see the spirit world and it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal that they see spirit. Again, I want to reiterate, it's almost like we don't point to humans and say, look, there's a human over there. Spirits are just a natural thing in their world. And so they're not going to necessarily point out and say, look, there's an angel over there. Look, there's a spirit over there, even though they see them. I also feel like I can see them growing up and then like wondering if other people see the spirits, or just assuming that other people see the spirits as well. So Peggy just says, I love that you're an indigo. Yeah, it helps me understand why I am the way I am. Perfect. My parents moved me up north when the school insisted on drugs that didn't work. Went to a new school and no medicine. It was a challenge, but I made it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there you go, Pati. That's good. That's good. And then Trisha says, even still, I feel she's connected a lot more than she lets on, almost like meatloaf. I love that. I love that. I love that. Perfect, Trisha. So our little rainbows, I just feel like, really nurture the sweet little rainbows and just really nurture them and help them to not be veiled, like help them to live in the human world and the spirit world simultaneously. And so that's the rainbows. And I definitely, I see a lot more younger, like just younger rainbows. So let me tell you, and it's really just cutting edge right now. And I'd love any feedback from you guys, in any way. I really just feel like I need to bring this forward. So I am now seeing a lot of goldens within my reading. So, mom comes to me and, I'm feeling like, wow, your child's a golden child. Okay. Again, I Googled it and it wasn't anywhere. And I was like, maybe I'm getting this wrong. And I tried, asking other mediums, other psychics, and I'm just like, no, I'm not getting this. So it feels like a new wave coming through. And so, it's blowing my mind. And actually one of my spiritual advising students last week, she brought forward, something new from spirit that she couldn't Google, she couldn't find. And it made me think of the goldens, and I was like, well, hey, this is something that I've gotten from spirit that you can't Google it, it's nowhere. And she goes, oh, and she has been seeing gold and silver in auras. And I'm like, oh, this is my answer. So it was exciting to me because there's somebody else getting a similar download. And so for you guys, like if you get new information and you can't Google it, you can't find it, this is your download. This is your discovery, so be open to that. Be really open to that. So the goldens, they are, they're A-okay with seeing spirit and they talk about it. Okay. Whereas the rainbows are just like, oh, okay, well, it's spirit. It's just spirit, these goldens are seeing them and talking about them like, oh, look at the kitty. And there's no kitty there, but it's a kitty in spirit. That happened today during a reading, a little golden child. She's 6 years old. And mom said she keeps seeing, my husband's cat who's in spirit. And I'm like, good. And she's talking about it. Okay. So that's kind of the difference between the rainbows and the goldens. The goldens are talking about it. The goldens also, they are, again, just talking about spirit. So the goldens are, let's see, I had this little 8-year-old boy and his younger brother had passed away from, I don't think it was cerebral palsy, but I think it was something similar, and just wasn't destined to live very long. But this 8-year-old always sees his brother. Oh yeah, my brother's right there. So they're talking about it. So that's pretty neat, is that these goldens they're seeing spirit and they're talking about it. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you. These goldens, they're similar to the crystals, the rainbows, the indigos, very empathic, and okay with being empathic. So some of us who are empathic, we definitely have to have the protection techniques and that type of thing. They're just empathic and they're empathic. And it doesn't like rattle them. It doesn't anything. They feel what other people feel and they just keep moving forward with it. And so they're very empathic and it's not a big deal that they're empathic. And so pretty neat. Hi, Brenda. Just talking about the star children. And I'm on a new wave, one that I've gotten downloaded. So I keep getting the goldens, and I was telling everybody, Brenda, that you're not going to find it on Google. You're not going to, Doreen Virtue hasn't picked this up yet. Okay, so there you go, Pati. So you may definitely have, you may have a golden and you may have a rainbow. So that's perfect. Good. So I love the progression of each type, each one more connected and bolder. Yeah, Jody, totally, than the one before. Yeah, like the rainbows aren't really talking about it, and then the goldens are talking about it. Yeah, I know. I got goosebumps as soon as I read that, the shift in the world over the next 50 years. Absolutely. Yes, Lil. Yeah, they're fascinating children. They really, really are. I love it. So Cindy's just saying, this is impressive. I do this all the time. Good. I point it out to my children. Good. I have a child spirit that goes everywhere with you. Very good. She's about 5 and has a white 2-piece purple flower with 2-piece purple flower with green leaf on, and you named her Sophia. Perfect. That is her name. This is cute because a lot of times when you guys talk about spirits, they like come in and they're like, well, that is my name, so that was really cute. She's like, that is my name. Oh, perfect, Peggy. I'm glad you've realized that you're empathic. Perfect. Awesome, Cindy. Awesome. So little Sophia is with you. That's perfect, honey. That's perfect. I love that. Truth bumps, right? Truth bumps. Good job, Jody. And so Pati's just saying, he once told me Rocco was in the backyard when he had recently passed. So yeah, so he feels like a golden. You're funny, Brenda. It's all good. Well, it's funny too because I'm broadcasting from Heather Corbett Medium and Spiritual Advisor, so people don't really get the notifications as much. So yeah, so it just is what it is. Naughty replay. Okay, good. Yeah, and I do like that evolution too, Jody. It's really neat to see. Let's see. So, okay, so here's another thing with the goldens. They can already tell I'm a medium, okay? So where the rainbows are seeing the spirits around me, the goldens are seeing me. The goldens are seeing my gift and they're seeing my light. And so they're a little bit more, and I don't want to say intense, but it's almost like they look at me more. Okay. They're checking me out more. I have a little golden gal. Beautiful. I mean, it makes me cry because she's just so beautiful. Sensory processing stuff happening. Not even 3 years old. And, she just, the way she looks at me, I can just tell. And her mom, said, she's like, wow, she really connects with you. She doesn't usually connect like this with people. And I was just like, because she knows I'm a medium, and so that's a little bit of the difference between the goldens and the rainbow children. Okay, is that the rainbow children, they're seeing the spirits. The golden children are seeing the spirits and talking about it, and the golden children are also seeing people. So they're recognizing spirit within people. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Perfect. I love that, Jody. I love that you see the shift and that you looked into the future. It's exciting. Like I have those truth bumps again, it's exciting, because we're here to really help these next generations. Those of us who are indigo, for me anyway, I was veiled. So I had my superpowers as a kid, and then it was just covered up throughout my teen years. And thankfully around 1920, I was able, 1920, not the year, but 19 years old to 20 years old, I was able to start coming through again. And that's when I had a spiritual mentor around that time. And she's like, I think you're an indigo. And I was like, oh, there's a word for me. So then for these next generations, we're making sure they're not getting veiled. We're, having them talk about it if they need to talk about it, giving them words to use, etc., and just making it supernatural. Supernatural? That's funny. Supernatural. A little play on words. And so that's what I have for you guys. Again, the indigos, we're rebels, and we're psychic, intuitive. The crystals, just to kind of wrap the crystals up, they are very sweet, genuine. They care very deeply for others. And did I say rainbows? I say crystals. So I'm talking about the crystals. They have really big eyes and they just kind of gaze into your being. And they're teachers, they're facilitators. They make these lasting friendships. Our rainbows are the ones who are seeing the spirit, and it's just a natural thing for them. They may not have had an incarnation of any sort, so they're a new soul. So that means they've just been in celestial realm for a lot longer than most. Or if they are incarnated, they're very gifted spiritually. They're just operating in a higher vibration. They have a lot of energy. And then the goldens, again, you're not going to find this. It's not going to be out on Google yet, right? I got to write a book, right? again, these kiddos, they are able to see spirit and talk about spirit. Oh, there's a kitty. Oh, there's a dog. Or there's, that type of thing. And then the Goldens also are recognizing the spirit within human. So they're engaged with the spirit which is within us. Okay, so those are our Goldens. So yeah, absolutely, Jody. Just want to help guide people to their true mission. Absolutely. Yeah, and Pati just says, I've been veiled for a lot of years, and I hear you, girlfriend. I hear you. Yeah, and when you open, it's just like, whoa, right? Trisha just says, I had a boy probably a little over a year old just staring at me while waiting in the checkout line. His mom even said, man, he's got eyes for you. I just smiled. There you go. So more than likely, this was a Golden. If he was looking around you, that would be a rainbow. Oh, really? Okay, so just a second. So, Vil, my son had a changing disconnection to spirit after a year or two into puberty. I wonder if it's a veil for him. It very well could be. So the tricky thing is to help him stay open. So this 13-year-old that I'm working with that is a crystal, it's helping him to stay open. So what has happened is that his guardian angel was in front of him for the longest time and now is stepping back because he is 13. And I said, well, he's looking out for you. The 13-year-old kind of misses the guardian angel in front of him, but understands the shift, and so allowing him not to be veiled because he's not seeing his guardian angel as much. He knows that his guardian angel is behind him now, really keeping him in safety mode. Oh my heavens, really awesome. Jody, I saw that. About a golden child. I'm gonna have to check that out. Wasn't there an older movie about a golden child? I need to look at that. I need to look at that. That's awesome. Yeah. So Sylvia. Yeah. So if they're looking around you, they're looking at your guardian angel. They're looking at your spirits, etc. And so those are the rainbow children. It's an Eddie Murphy movie. I am like, really? Does this have any merit? Not merit. I feel like I've heard of it before. I think it's really funny, especially with Eddie Murphy. But definitely let me know, you guys. So if you do start seeing Goldens, I'd love more information. I'm just trying to research this kind of stuff. I'm just trying to get more information about them. So that's what I have for today. If you guys have any questions, definitely drop them in. It just makes sense. I feel like, once we have a label. I remember, again, I think I was 19 or 20, and my spiritual mentor, she was incredible. I was going through a spiritual awakening, and it was just amazing to have her say, like, Heather's an indigo. And I remember going to a meditation with her. I really looked up to her. And I just remember going to a meditation, and she like shared with all the other ladies, because all the other ladies were a lot older than me. And she's like, Heather's an indigo. And I'm like, boom, I'm an indigo. So it really felt good to have that answer. And so for me anyway, it brings me a lot of comfort. So Lil's just saying skepticism is taking quite a hold on him. Okay. So, being okay with whatever the process is. Being okay and being open if he does want to talk. And if he's meant to be veiled for a couple years, then he's meant to be veiled for a couple years, I feel like he'll come back around if that's his destiny. Okay, cool, Jody. Now I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to check that out. And so then Sylvia and also Christopher had a period when he was looking a lot around me, and also himself. Perfect. Okay. Perfect, Sylvia. So yeah, you're seeing that too. Yay. You're so welcome, Trisha. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So definitely for those of you who are on the replay, let me know you're on the replay. And I'd love your feedback. I'd love, any information that you guys have about the children, and especially the golden children, because I'm doing a lot of just research on them right now. And yeah, let me know. Just let me know what you come up with or how you're feeling. And yeah, thank you for being here with me this evening, you guys. So much light and love and so many blessings to you all. I'll talk to you another time. Mwah.